Welcome everybody. We have a video today showing off something that I've been talking about for a couple weeks now. I was waiting for everything to come in to make the video. I've been wanting to do some reloading for a 32 ACP. I bought one of those Berettas. Everybody is importing at the moment. And 32 ACP is expensive. It's like 50 cents a shot if you go to a big box store and try to buy a box of it. So I'm cheap. I don't want to do that. I wanted to reload it. Problem is, your molds, if you get a high-end mold, normal mold, for 32 ACP specifically, there's a couple issues with them. One, you can find one that's, the lube grooves are for tumble lubes. I have a Lube-O-Matic, so I didn't want to do tumble lubing. The other issue is, like, the other one is like 120 bucks, and I don't really want to spend $120, and I know most of you reloaders don't want to spend $120 on a caliber that you're probably not going to shoot a whole lot of, so... What we're gonna do, what I did already, and these are done, and the results are in, and I know the results, is I'm gonna show you guys the video coming up, milling two quote-unquote cheap 32 caliber molds down to size, what I thought would be a good size, and to see what kind of weights will we get out of it. Over here, on your right, we have a 100 grain Lee 32 Smith & Wesson long mold. On the left, I think it's your left, we have the 93 grain Smith & Wesson long mold. Both of those, for you guys that know 32 auto, is way too heavy. Way too heavy for a 32. So, what do you guys think? Can we get these down far enough to make them viable? And are there any issues with making these viable for 32 ACP? Stay tuned. I'm going to roll in all the footage of me cutting these, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit at the end about which one I would go with. We'll see. Oh, look at that. Perfect 311.
Whoa, amber is the color of your energy.
All right, so let's check the weight. It says it should drop in at about 100. So let's see what I get with my... actually, like 90, 98. Okay, it's not what I want. Dropping it right. Wow, it's actually really good. That's dropping it right at like 101, and a 102 or 103. So with this lead wheel weights, these drop right at 100 for me. So what we're gonna do next, we're gonna take this over to the milling machine and start tearing it up, see what we can get. Here's what we got. I had to cut the screw down. Oh, you're not in focus or in frame. I had to cut the screw down because obviously we took a lot of material off. You can see we shaved it pretty far down. And that's what the inside now looks like. Let me see if I can catch it in the light. There we go. So we took the top/bottom lube groove and the bottom driving band. Milled it off. We're going to see what this drops weight-wise. This gives us all the way up to, again, right there is about the tip of my thumb. That's where the driving bands are. So we're going to see what this drops now. I'm going to I don't even need to redo it. Let's just plug in, see what this drops, and go from there. See what we got to do now. So what do we come up with? Well, the 100 grain mold will drop a really nice 100 grain bullet if you're looking for that weight. I cut it down. I milled a little bit more off after the video that you saw. It was dropping, what did I say, 80 something, 81, 82, which was still a little high for me. So I kept milling it, and this is what we got. You can see that bottom driving band is very, very small, but we got the bullet to drop to 72. So it is possible. This mold you can mill down to 72 grains. And here's a bullet with the lube groove filled already. I ran this one through the sizer and filled it. So you can drop it to about 72, 71, 72. What I would do if I were doing this again and I had bought this is this, to me, could be a 75 grain mold. You can get this, because I would like to see a little bit more meat on that bottom section. So I would bring that back up a little bit and make this about a 75 grain mold. That's what you can expect to get out of this one. It's still gonna be a very nose heavy bullet and probably a little long up in the front section. So I'm not sure how it'll feed. We'll see that in the next video when we actually reload some of these and try them out. But that's what you get out of the 100 grain. Let's move on and mill the 93 grain and see what we can get out of that. All right, after cutting, testing back and forth, we have our two molds. This is the 100 grain mold that we first got right here, and here is our 93 grain. So I'll show you what we've kind of come up with. I did a bunch of these 93s to test, and here's what we have. Let me bring this closer to the camera. So, with the 100 grain, let me zoom in, there we go. With the 100 grain, we were dropping a 100-ish grain projectile. And it's a nice little projectile if you're looking for like 32 Smith & Wesson. It'd be pretty good. After chopping it down, our bullet is dropping at about 72 grains. My problem here is this, which it may work and we're going to test it to find out, but you can see that bottom band there between the lube grooves. It's very, very small. Sorry, I'm off camera a little bit. Very small bottom groove. Will it work? We're going to cut them and load some up of these 72s and find out. They're very front heavy, you can see, and that bottom groove is very thin. With our other mold, here is the 93 grain projectile that it was dropping. So this is the straight out of the mold, and what we did is we cut off that bottom lube groove. With that, we get these. Well, we get some better ones. Hold on. We find a really good one. This is one that I ran through the sizing die. So this is a perfect example of what you're going to get. Bring that back out. That drops it right about 68 grains. You can see that bottom driving band is nice and thick, and it's going to come way up to the ogive, which starts way up top here. The ogive is where the bullet starts to curve. So that, to me, is probably a little bit more what I want to see because that bottom band is so thick. I haven't lubed this. Lube will probably add maybe a grain or two to this bullet. You can see here versus the two bullets side by side. Hold on, give me a sec. So here's what we got side by side. You can see the 100 grain bullet dropped down to about a 72, 73 grain bullet on the left, and the 93 grain bullet dropped to cut to about a 68 grain. I'm liking the one on the right a little bit more. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it in focus. I'm liking this one on the right a little bit more, but we're gonna load it up and do some shooting with it and see what... I'm going to drop a bunch of these, load them up, shoot them, and we'll see what actually shoots the best. So that's what you can expect when you buy one of these two. If you need a 32 Smith & Wesson or something big, 100 grains, this is actually a really great mold for that. If you want a slightly heavier bullet that's longer in the nose, the 100 grain is going to be better for that. For me, I think the 93 grain, which is a little bit, nope, that's the 100 grain, 93 grain, which has a bit of a different profile and a lot more muscle, a lot more meat back here, is going to be what's for me. This is comparing, so that's a 68 grain. This is comparing to a 60 grain hollow point from the XTP. I think these are XTPs. So that to me is more in line with what I'm looking for out of my 32 ACP. That's this video. I'm going to wrap this one up. This one has been very long. I'm going to load some of these. I'm not going to throw out load data. You guys don't need to see that. I'll discuss it afterwards because I need to run some loads up and test and make sure that they're not, you know, they won't eject or make sure we don't have any problems with these bullets. But for me right now, I think this 93 grain cut down to a 68 grain is going to be where it's at. So if it were me, if you were going out to do this, I would start with the 93, cut it down to about a 68. Don't go too much. I got this one right to the edge of that bottom lube groove, and then I actually ended up using a die, one of these for trimming your brass, and I opened up that back channel just a little bit, which gave it a little bit over flashing, and then when I run it through the sizer, it sizes it perfect, and it drops at about 180, or I'm sorry, 68, plus the lube groove, maybe 69. So anyways, that's what you got, guys. Thanks for watching. I know this one took me freaking ages to get out, but if you guys like this sort of weird shit, let me know. I'm going to continue doing this. This is what entertains me, so I'll continue doing this for you guys. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you really want to. It doesn't matter. Just come watch my stuff. It's interesting. But anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one, which hopefully will be reloading these into some spent casings. Let's see. Hold on. We'll make it look cool. It doesn't quite fit. We're loading these into some spent casings. And, oh yeah, see, that's going to be a really good fit. These here, God, I'm getting off topic again. These here were almost a little too small. Anyways, we'll do some testing. We're going to see what works, and we'll come up to a conclusion at the end of all of this of what loads best, what shoots best out of two 32 ACP guns I have. I'll catch you guys on the next one.